The Flash, issue 763, finds Barry and Iris out enjoying the Central City Farmers Market. Barry finds the year has gone by quick, realizing that he is now again at the anniversary of his mother's death, which this year he decided to spend with Iris out in the open. Taken out of his train of thought by Iris, he asks her if they want to make pizza when they get home, reminded of the pizza place in New York that one time. Barry gets an idea, speeding off across the country to New York, but he soon realizes something is wrong, stopping after 2,087 miles. He realizes that he has burned off all his clothes thanks to the friction, making him wonder if something was wrong with his flash ring, but when looking, he realizes the flash ring is gone. Returning home, Iris asks Barry what he could have done with it, but Barry knows it's not like a car key and he can't just misplace it. She jokingly asks if he gave it to a high school sweetheart, soon apologizing since it's a bit silly when he has other Flash costumes on hand and he can just use one of them. Barry quickly changes, saying that that's not the point since the ring is unique. Barry reveals that it's made up of a mixture of gold, stainless steel, and a special alloy he made, and he can't just make another, so he needs to get it back. Racing off, Barry wonders if Iris remembers the significance of today or she just doesn't want to bring it up, but just once he would like to face today without a sense of dread hanging over him. Retracing his steps, Barry heads back to the arcade they went to, finding police are now there. The Flash knows that if there are police there at a carnival setting, it means only one thing: Trickster is around. Barry quickly finds the villain, tossing him up into a tornado and taking him down, but learns from the police that he isn't actually committing any crimes. Barry knows that there is a good chance that he did something to deserve being thrown around in a tornado. Axel, however, explains that he's the owner of the arcade and there's more money in overpriced food and games than there is crime these days. Flash demands to know why the police are there, learning that it was for crowd control since his place is a surefire hit. The Flash says he was there earlier and it wasn't nearly as busy, but Trickster refuses to say why there is a surge of interest. Trickster says his only crime is gentrification and wants to know why Flash was there, learning he is investigating a crime that might have happened, wanting Trickster to show him around the funhouse. Going inside, Trickster reveals that he has a claw machine where the grand prize is Flash's ring. Axel says that Barry really isn't the quickest man alive, not realizing that he owned the place, but Barry knows it never looked like this before, and he thinks Trickster was robbing random people there, but when he got the Flash's ring, he decided to reconfigure his setup around it. Axel says that Flash is close, but warns the hero not to assume. The villain says that he can't help if the hero can't hold on to his jewelry as the hero goes to play the claw game to get the ring back, shocking Axel since he thought the hero looked out for others and not himself. The woman on the dunk tank nearby suddenly falls, heading towards a spike trap, but Flash saves her in the nick of time, only to find out that it was just a doll. Trickster is glad to see Flash is ever so reliable since he's what the betting community call a sure win, showing Flash the people who are actually betting on him saving the doll, giving him some x-ray specs so he can look into the next room. Flash isn't pleased by this, but Axel says that people aren't just betting, they are losing their entire life savings on literally everything the Flash does, from saving the doll to wondering if his suit makes him sweat. Axel reveals the winnings all go to the funhouse, wanting Flash to go for his ring, unless he would rather take the villain on one-on-one. Flash knows that he can beat the Trickster with one hand tied behind his back, as the first test is an IQ test. The Trickster pulls a ticket from the machine, reading the question which asks how many times lightning itself can be struck, knowing it's 5 times as Toyman, Prankster, Riddler, and Cluemaster join the villain. Axel says that he figured he would recruit some like-minded individuals as Riddler attacks Flash, allowing Trickster to throw the 4 villains the ring. One of them grabs it and Trickster calls it the ultimate shell game as the villains all scatter, leaving Flash to deduce which one has the ring. Taking a chance, Flash follows after Prankster, chasing Loomis on his jet bike around the city until he is stopped by a giant boxing glove, one of Toyman's designs. Flash calls it a cheap shot, hitting the villain who bursts into a 100-point score. Thanks to this, Flash realizes that none of the villains are actually real, and Trickster must have put some sort of micro camera on his mask when he tried on the X-ray specs, making him see VR avatars driven by people in Trickster's funhouse. Flash returns to the arcade, finding Trickster has put on his ring, wanting Axel to hand it over. Trickster says that Flash doesn't have enough tickets to earn it yet, wanting to know what's so special about the ring, since first he thought it was the gold, but then he noticed the mysterious element in the mix. He wants to know why the speedster needs the ring, and if the hero confesses in front of everyone, he will give it to him. Flash relents, telling Trickster the special alloy that he made helps him in the Speed Force, and when he touches the side of the ring, it gives him what he needs to be the Flash. Thinking he now has the power of the Flash, Trickster clicks the side of the ring. Flash knows he didn't lie about the ring since it does indeed help him in the Speed Force, but what he failed to mention to the villain is the costume exits the ring with the force of 9 airbags, which to a speedster is nothing, but to someone like Trickster, it knocks the villain out cold. Later on, Iris wonders if Trickster thought maybe the Flash ring gave the Flash his powers, but Barry only knows that the villain heard what he wanted to hear. Iris asks what is so special about the ring and what is the mystery metal, and Barry says that everyone assumes the metal is what makes the ring special, but the alloy really protects what's special inside the Speed Force, and it's the gold that has the true value, since when he decided to create a ring to hold his costume, he knew it had to be both practical and wanted it to stand for something, reminding him of why he puts it on. Barry reveals that the gold in the ring is made from his mother and father's wedding rings, which he forged together. So in addition to housing the costume, it also brings him hope during what could have been dark times. And now it adds a positive memory to what is usually an emotional day for him. Iris realizes what the day is, but Barry knows that it can also now be seen as the day he got his ring back. In the newly rebuilt Iron Heights, Dr. Alchemy reads about Trickster's capture by Flash, remembering how the human body is made up of 11 elements, all of which are capable of transforming with a catalyst. Knowing for some it's heat, and in prison it's God for some, but for him, Trickster was his turning point, since his element is that of surprise, and now it's time for Dr. Alchemy to strike. The Flash issue 763 was a really fun filler issue after Joshua Williamson's stellar run on the book, with Kevin Shinnick picking up the reins. The way Kevin writes Barry, Trickster, and Iris and everyone else is really well done, making the transitions between writers easier and like nothing ever changed. I really enjoyed Barry's explanation of his ring and what makes it special apart from holding his costume, and it was a lovely dedication to his parents and to his mother. I'm looking forward to Kevin's Dr. Alchemy story arc beginning next issue, and if it can keep up the wonderful characterizations from this issue, we're in for a treat. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10.